Hey everyone, it's Nicole from Beauty in the Bag. I'm here today with my mom, Noelle, and she's going to do a Q&A talking about how I got my ostomy and how I got to where I am today. So, here we go.
So, as Nicole was growing up, she was pretty much just like any other child and really didn't have any issues. And her problem started when she came around like 20, right?
Yeah.
She was going to go in the Navy, and it's very strict these days. And she was starting to have some problems, but she didn't want to address them because, to go into the Navy, you have to be pretty much perfect and without any health, issues. So, when did that kind of like everything come to a head for you?
Well, starting out all through, I'd say, I don't know, as a young child, I kind of had like a weird, wouldn't you say I'd had like a weird, like pooping issue? I guess you would say that, right?
Yeah,
like
a little bit.
Like it would just be kind of off. But once I hit, like she said, about 20, it just got so bad to where I think I went 3 weeks without pooping. Yeah, 3 weeks. So that's when I just decided that sometimes, you have to take care of yourself instead of focusing on, for instance, for me, the Navy. You have to take care of your health or else you're not going to be able to do the things that you want in life. So I think that's when it hit me, when one day I told my mom, I said, I haven't gotten poop in like 3 weeks. And you actually gave me an enema, right? You gave me an enema and nothing happened afterwards.
Mm-hmm.
And on the box it said something like, if you don't get any relief, you need to go to the emergency room or seek help, whatever I said. So that's where that started.
Yep. And it was just kind of funny because I worked for a specialty group and I had GI doctors and colorectal surgeons. So Nicole actually started to go see one of our GI doctors.
Mm-hmm.
And that was about how long, Nicole? What kind of a process did you go through? Can you explain it to everybody?
So
what you went through?
I went, starting after my first emergency room trip, I went to see the GI doctor, and that started, I think, March of 2012, and he just decided that he was going to start me on some medication. I can't remember what it was called, just to see
Ametia or something like
yeah,
that?
Ametia, that's what it was. And
for constipation.
Yeah, and we wanted to see if it would help, but it didn't help, obviously. So then he decided he was going to do some things like barium enema test, x-rays, ultrasounds, and the colonoscopy was going to be the last resort. He really didn't want to do that unless he really had to. So finally, we got to the colonoscopy when nothing helped, and that's when he found the twisting of the bowel, right? It was like a twisting, but it wasn't completely blocked off. So it was twisted and really long, he said. Abundant, right?
Redundant.
Redundant, not abundant, sorry.
It was abundant.
It was abundant, guys.
And redundant. And twisted.
Oh,
right?
Hold on. La, la, la. Okay. Anyways.
So then after that, doctor pretty much thought that you might have Hirschsprung's because of the different medications that you tried, and from the tests that you had, they figured that you didn't have the necessary colon
and
nerve functions in order to make the stool pass through the colon, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. So that was like the worst case scenario that they feared that might be going on with you. So after a lot of testing, probably for 1.5 years, right?
Yeah.
They pretty much determined that's probably what you had.
Yeah. But before they completely said that, I actually had half of the colon removed. That was in September of 2012. And that did absolutely nothing for me at all.
And why is that?
I mean, it was
because if you have Hirschsprung's,
it's all through your colon.
Your entire colon.
Yeah.
So removing part of it absolutely does nothing.
Yeah.
It's not going to help you.
Exactly. The next thing that happened was I went up to San Francisco to go see a doctor up there. This was because my GI wanted me to have some more advanced testing done to really see what's going on. So after I did a bunch of testing up there, one of the surgeons up at it's what was the hospital name?
Sutter.
Sutter. It was with UOP college. They pair up together. I went up there and they removed the other half of my colon. But when I got home, come to find I didn't have any sort of bowel control movement. I couldn't control anything, and I had to wear Depends every day, all the time. Yeah, I lived in Depends. It was awesome. No, it wasn't. So, and it was expensive, huh? Jeez, I was paying like $20, like.
But she went to school full time, maintained a straight A.
Yeah,
you know,
I did, and I never dropped any classes.
And school and work, and basically never complained about anything.
Yeah, I try and be very positive.
Very positive.
So finally, after that happened, I went back to my surgeon who did my first surgery, and we decided it was time to do the ileostomy because.
Well, you basically stalked him.
Yeah,
and begged him.
I would sit at that office. I would be like, dude, you're doing it. And he was like, you're never going to let me go, are you? And I'm like, no, I'm not. So you just have to do it. And finally he was like, fine, I'll do it.
Because why? Because everybody has this, preconceived notion that, nobody your age is going to deal with having an ileostomy.
That was his,
to have a bag.
Yeah, that was his main problem.
He just thought, there's no way this beautiful young girl at 21 is going to even deal with having to deal with an ostomy.
Yeah. He could
not wrap his mind around it.
He asked questions like, how are you going to handle wearing a bikini? How is your boyfriend going to handle this? Because I have a boyfriend of 5 years now. And so, things like that. And I just told him, I don't care. But I'll tell you more about that later. So, that was his main thing. So I ended up, convincing him that I could handle it, and he finally did the surgery. That was in November of 2013, and came out of surgery. I don't know, during the hospital, you can tell them how I was.
I never researched, even though I worked for the colorectal surgeons, I never actually saw an ostomy or a colostomy. I mean, we had a lot of patients that came in with having those, but I never actually even looked at one. I run the front desk. I'm not an MA. I'm not in the exam room, so I never looked. And even though Nicole was going to have one, I guess maybe it was a protective type mechanism that I didn't research it, because I'm like a researcher. I'm a CSI. I'll hunt it down. So when she came out of surgery and she showed it to me, because she was all loopy from her Dilaudid, and when she showed it to me, I was like, oh my God, holy crap. I was shocked. I was pretty.
It is shocking to see.
It's shocking. If you never saw one before
in person,
you had no idea. I was shocked, but she was very proud to show it off.
I was showing everyone.
To everyone. I was trying to cover up, modesty child. Woo, look at this. But now it's no big deal.
Yeah.
I mean, we change her bag in the car if we have to. If we're at the mall and that's what needs to be done, that's what we do. It's no big deal. And then in her case, because she has the ostomy that's attached to the small bowel, there isn't any smell.
Yeah.
I mean, I'm shocked. I mean, nothing. So,
no, you don't smell it through the bag.
No.
When I empty it, that's another story. But
I've never smelled it when we emptied it.
Yeah.
So I have impaired smelling. I don't know. I don't never smell anything. So for people that may be having to have something done like this in case of, maybe cancer or any other reason, it's probably not as bad as what you may think, because Nicole goes to school full time. She works full time.
Mm-hmm.
She shops. We go to Disneyland. We do everything anybody who's normal
Yeah.
they do. So it's not a big deal.
Yeah, it's really.
It's just not. It's just a part of her, and that's it.
Mm-hmm. So we're gonna wrap this one up, but there's gonna be a part 2 because we have some more things to add, and I just don't want this to get so long. So stay tuned for part 2. We're gonna do that one right now, and we'll see you later.